bypassing antivirus. So I've started off with the emissive venom command here. Should be familiar with this part. The payload, lhost, lport. This -x may be new. This is going to tell it to embed inside of an executable. So users share Windows-binaries radmin.exe. So it's just a radmin program. So in the Windows binaries folder we have, as the name implies, some Windows binaries. This -k tells it to run the payload in a different thread, so we'll still be able to run the original program to the user. It'll look normal, but we'll also be able to have the payload in the background. Format executable, and I just put it into radmin.exe. Cool. Alright, naturally we need a listener to catch it. While that's setting up, I'm going to turn on real-time protection in Microsoft Security Essentials on Windows 7. So this will give us some antivirus. PC status is now protected. So if it finds these files, it should delete them. It's of course still loading. I should have done it before I turned on the video. Use Firefox. We haven't used Firefox yet. So let's see if it'll let me serve it to myself right now. Or copy radmin.exe to var www service apache to start. I don't know what's up with that all of a sudden. Don't think this has TFTP. Could. No. Does have FTP though. Does this thing have an FTP server? Probably not. Let's see. Netcat do it if I have it. Well, I need the executable in the first place. I wonder if I can just cheat. Do this. Possibly. Need some way to get files onto it, and I don't want to do it with PowerShell because I haven't taught you PowerShell yet. Really not sure what's up with this web server. Let's see if I stop the web server. Try this. Python simple web server. I couldn't think of alright, whatever. I'm cool. See, that worked. I don't know what's up with my Apache server. I haven't done anything to it, I swear. Admin.exe. And as it's being downloaded, basically, Microsoft Security Essentials. Kill it. Go to our downloads folder. It won't be there anymore. It is there. Partially, at least. So it won't run anyway. There it's gone. It never actually ran. Well, let's go ahead and start up a listener. Use multi-handler. Set payload, Windows, Interpreter, reverse TCP, set lhost, lport. We've got our listener if we can ever make it run. Another site that you might try, I don't want you to ever try this with anything that you've put your hard work into making avoid antivirus, because this site actually does share their results with the antivirus vendors. So if you do get something that bypasses antivirus and then you upload it to this site, you may find on your next test it doesn't work. I did show it in my book and did point this out, but yet people still think that it was a bad idea to show it to people in the first place. So I'll reiterate, don't upload your specially crafted payloads to this site. They will share it with the antivirus vendors. That's kind of the point, is they're trying to make antivirus better, which we in security would like antivirus to be better, but we as pen testers, it makes our lives easier if it doesn't catch our stuff, certainly. But since I haven't done anything to this radmin.exe to make it bypass antivirus, I can upload it, no problem. I won't lose my super secret formula for making things avoid antivirus by scanning it with VirusTotal. So this will upload the file and it'll run it through multiple antivirus vendors and see whether it flags it as malicious. So this is a Interpreter reverse TCP payload that we really haven't done anything to except embed it in an executable. So we should expect that any antivirus worth its salt would find it. Which, there's certainly antiviruses out there that do nothing as far as I can tell. And then there's some that are actually pretty good at finding known threats. Of course, they are reliant on it being known threats. The fact that we're using Interpreter makes this easier to spot. It is a very common hack tool both for malicious hackers and pen testers. So Microsoft should be on here somewhere. Yep, so it did find it. So I would encourage you, if you're actually trying to get past your client's antivirus, instead of uploading it to something like this, once you've actually put your hard work into trying to bypass antivirus, putting it up here is a really bad idea. So, but just for like class exercises, if you run through a lot of different techniques that are known, I still put it up here in class. But again, I wouldn't do it with anything you did for research. So only 26 out of 54 actually found it. But any of your big ones probably did, like Microsoft, Clam, Kaspersky, McAfee, Norton, I'm sure is on here somewhere, Symantec, Sophos. So probably anything that your client is likely to have did find it. So we would have to try a little bit harder. We could certainly go through lots of different trials and techniques of how to make this number go down, but for the sake of time and space, let's just kill this for now. I'm going to use a tool. I had you download it in the setup. Should be in your root directory, Hyperion.exe. So this is basically going to encrypt it with, I think, AES encryption, and then it's going to throw away the keys. And if you know anything about encryption, that might raise a red flag for you, because it's like encryption without keys, it shouldn't be able to decrypt on the other side, right? It's supposed to be a the whole point of cryptography, or cryptanalysis rather, is to try and break these things. Well, obviously it doesn't use cryptographically secure standard. Its key space is much smaller, so it can brute force its key on the other side in a reasonable amount of time. Alright, so what I actually have to do is actually go into the Hyperion directory, because that's where like the DLLs and stuff are. So this is meant to be run on Windows, but we can use the tool wine to run our Windows programs. So I'm going to run hyperion.exe on radmin.exe, and I'll just call it bypass hyperion.exe. Wine is being updated. Alright, so now that wine has updated, it ran, so my wine needed to be updated in there. So then we should have bypass hyperion.exe, so I'll copy that. Well, I'll just do my Python directory from here. So I'll restart my Python server and see if my bypass hyperion.exe can get past antivirus. Last time I checked, it could. When I'm actually on tests, I use things a little bit different than this. Another tool set is veil evasion that you can use. It hooks up directly to Metasploit though, so I have had some trouble with it in classes because it's expecting like the latest version of Metasploit, which it may not necessarily have on a class image, and then so getting them lined up can be kind of annoying, but it has a lot of avoiding antivirus things in it as well. And then, I mean, the best way to do this sort of thing is not to use Meterpreter at all, to build something custom that uses the Windows APIs to like call back and things. I mean, these are making a reverse connection to another system is not a malicious thing to do. I mean, practically all of your programs do that at some point or another. So, what did I name it? Bypass hyperion.exe. Save file. Don't see it yet. Seems like it's still getting through. I just know the day is going to come when Microsoft Security Essentials finds my Hyperion and I'm going to have to change the class exercise. Run it. Where's my radmin? I don't see my radmin. Did I at least get Michelle? No, I didn't get Michelle either. But I didn't get hit by antivirus. Done. Never underestimate my ability to screw up MSF Venom. What's the command I used? Executable kfexe radmin.exe. How about this, just to prove that it works? Because I've been having some problems with MSF Venom for probably the past 6 to 9 months with the shellcode that it generates not working, though it seemed to work pretty well when I recorded the videos for exploit development, but there could be something wrong with the executable template, or I need to update, because I haven't updated it since the build for this image when I started the class. So let's just do Windows Meterpreter reverse TCP, not embed it in the executable. So we know this part works because we tried it already. Ports. Format is exe. Call it meterpreter.exe. So we've already got our handler for it. This would probably be picked up by even more things than VirusTotal, since it's not even embedded in the executable. Alright, so we want to run our Hyperion command again. Oh, there it goes. That was slow. So it does take a minute, though that was more than a minute to run, because it has to get or brute force the encryption key. I've never seen it take that long, and I didn't put too much memory. I think it has 2 gigs, which should be sufficient. I don't know why it took so long. I've never seen it take that long, but it usually is about a minute. But it did give us the interpreter session, so it was working. So it wasn't something with MSF Venom. So like I said, I have occasionally had problems with MSF Venom. Metasploit is, a tool that's maintained by a lot of hardworking individuals, but with something this big, you can only expect that occasionally things will break. So in general, I don't have too many problems with Metasploit at all. I do a really good job of keeping it working, but occasionally something does break. This is why I like to stick to a particular image for classes and just switch the image for this class, thus causing all of our problems. But I think we've done pretty well, all in all. So what I was doing here is just going to create another one, but the one we had worked just fine. It just took a little bit longer than I expected. It's usually a little bit faster at cracking the key than that. I guess my VMs are for overworked VMs after going through this class. So, we have our no hash dump privileges, but that's something we're going to fix in the next section. Operation failed on our hash dumps. Why can we not get our hash dumps? We are a local administrator. Actually not a domain admin, but you are a local administrator on the system. I think. I'm going to do shell net local root administrators. Oh, actually I'm not even a local admin. Thought I was. Oh well. I could log back on as regular self. So, but even if I was local admin, it still would have not worked. So we'll see that in post-exploitation, how we can fix it. So there is a little bit extra security on our Windows 7 machine than there's not in our Windows XP and any of our other legacy systems. So it's still worth knowing stuff on legacy systems, because probably about, I don't know, 85, even 90% of internal pen tests that I do, there are some legacy systems lying around. So it is, I think, definitely worth knowing all the techniques on them. It's unlikely that you're going to get rid of all of them. I mean, particularly in like the manufacturing trades, they have them like embedded. They have like Windows 2000 embedded in it, and so it would cost $1 million to replace the actual device that's running it. So it's not just some server somewhere. And I see a lot of XP still. Like they've upgraded the main workstations to 7, but there's always something that was written that won't work with the newer versions of IIS or something like that. So, I mean, there's usually at least a couple lying around, and they're typically the things that people have forgotten about patching, so you can get the easy wins on those. And as we'll learn in our next section, turn those into possible domain level compromise.